So how was Marvel on thingy? Was it good?
Yeah, it was. It was initially I was like, I wasn't too sure because when they're doing the combat scenes, like wrestling, it's not real. A lot of it was choreographed, but they weren't even like, say if they went to punch someone, they would stop like here.
Oh, okay.
So it was like I was like, like But then this seemed to be at the start, and then obviously the build up was to see like I think Hulk was the only guy missing, so he was
I was about like, where is he?
well, he was in the Pete Banner character most of the time, and then you're like, how is this going to look type of thing. But I was pretty impressed by that actually. The costume they had
Oh, that's good.
come up with, yeah, it was good. So it was entertaining. I mean, they had a couple motorbike scenes, and they had to like jump up this ramp and kind of hit this little hole. And I gotta imagine that from time to time somebody's missed that hole, but yeah, it was flawless.
So I remember watching the training. There's all like steam coming up from.
Yeah,
No,
oh yeah.
it's just-
There's tons of visual effects like lasers. They had that huge screen you could see when they were training. That was all digital.
Oh wow.
So they had parts of like animated dragons and stuff that were part of the scene, but obviously they're just on the screen or whatever. But it was pretty 3D, pretty realistic. The kids had a blast. So
Yeah. And I've never seen so many boxes scattered around those corridors in the arena.
I know that's crazy. That's a traveling show. I gotta imagine it takes them at least a day or two to set up.
Because they used this place as the training base. So they
To get everything nailed down.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why they were here for so long.
Yeah.
But it's still even though they were here that long, I've never been able to see it. Like you can only go around that corridor single file
Right.
for about 3 weeks or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Oh man, the amount of stuff. And then it seems like it's almost like a hit start, and then the thing just runs because where we were sitting, you could see the people. Had the soundboards and all that.
Yeah.
But I always glanced down a couple times, and it wasn't like they were sitting there frantically. They were kind of sitting back watching. So
I was like they've set everything up.
I feel like it's all set, and yeah, they're ready to go.
they're there in case there's an emergency kind of thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
So you settled in Nottingham now then? I know it's not far from Sheffield. But
Yeah. No, we're definitely settled. It's except I think I mentioned to you before. I like the fact that it's very walkable around here, especially for us with family. It's nice not to have to load in the car all the time, and we can just take off a little afternoon coffee, tea, or whatever. And yeah, there's some cool spots. We're foodies, so we like to explore different restaurants and stuff like that. And yeah, my daughter, she's settled in nursery here, and yeah, things are good.
I imagine it's very similar to Sheffield anyway.
Yeah,
It's a big city that you're in.
yeah, it's a bigger city. We definitely like that we live right downtown in the mix of things. There's always something going on, so
And you're close to the arena as well.
very close to the arena, which is also nice. You don't have to worry about battling traffic or anything like that. You're just no excuses to be late. That's for sure.
Well, normally it's the people who are the closest who are the latest
Right?
most of the time.
Yeah, we wait till the very last second, but
So it's Nottingham at this point in your career now, but where did ice hockey come into the life of Mark Matheson?
it's been around for a while. Actually, I think I was 4 or 5, and my parents, they were great. They let me try every sport, and actually hockey was the worst. I was like the worst skater. They're like, oh, this isn't gonna go well for him. But I had worn the back in the day. Some people were wearing the pants, the long girdles. So there's no like with the socks and the short
Okay.
pant. It was a full pant all the way down the skate. And I think that was constricting me a little bit in my movements. So then they put me into that's like a power skating because I was like I wanted to play hockey. They're like, are you sure? Like we'll try.
So when did you first get exposed to the game?
Like on ice. Well, my dad's always been a fan of the sport. He
Okay.
never played anything at like a high level, but just yeah, he's always been a big fan of the sport. And then obviously, just growing up in Canada, like you see it's on Hockey Night in Canada, and
Especially in Calgary as well.
yeah, exactly. And the Flames back then were a pretty good team.
Are they your team then, are they?
Yeah, they are through the bad times, the good times. I for whatever reason, maybe it stems from my dad, but I'm definitely a Flames fan through and through. And yeah, from there, I took a power skating class, and just within a summer, just completely turned around for me, and yeah, just kind of kept getting better and better, and followed all the way through, all the way up. I played juniors in Calgary, and then I left.
Is that
to
the
go to
Calgary
school.
Royals?
Yeah, and then I haven't been back to Calgary since. So
Oh, so
for hockey, yeah, like it was junior, and then see you later.
Because then you signed for UMass, not signed for, but recruited by or
Yeah,
went to?
yeah. You accept a scholarship to UMass Amherst. And you're there for 4 years. Most people are, anyways.
And then you had I'm going to go with the Panthers-related teammate initially, in
Okay.
Chris Caprera.
Oh yeah,
He was here for about half a season.
Really?
We were in the Continental. I want to say 2013-14.
wow, I wasn't even aware of that. Yeah, Cappy, I know him pretty well, obviously from school. We hung out a bit. We actually played together online for a while because I played a little bit of center my senior year of college. We just had some kind of gaps to fill in that role, and they asked me, and I said I'll do it, but I wanted to, like, have a real good chance. So they put me up in the top line, and I got to play with Chris Caprera and a couple other guys. Obviously, they're very good, and yeah, we actually had some pretty good chemistry together.
So when did you move back as a defender then?
Actually, throughout that whole year, I played forward, but also there's certain times of the game I played defense. So it was weird. At some points, I'd actually play a shift forward, not change, and just go back and play defense. So flip-flopping around like that. I will say, coming from a defender to a center is not as hard as transition as people may think, especially because the D zone, the centerman's the one that has to do a lot of the defending down low. And then I was almost worked in my advantage as like a guy that could be like a utility player to try and reach that highest level. It's always good to have a little bit of variety in your game.
And then say you said you weren't the best skater when you were younger. Defensemen, they're the ones that have to skate backwards. So
Yeah.
that shows a great improvement in your ability at skating.
Yeah, it was just, maybe my parents were a bit surprised that it just kind of caught on, and like I said, I think it had a lot to do with the pant or whatever, but I was pretty determined to do well at it, and skating's actually been a strong part of my game ever since then.
And then another one of your teammates who's flitted around with the NHL was Michael Koska.
Okay, yeah. Yep, Koska, he was a year or two behind me class-wise, but I've seen him a little bit too. We played against each other professionally, I think once or twice, but yeah, he did well for himself. I think he's still playing, right?
I think he's gone abroad now.
Yeah, I think he might be in Sweden. I don't know if he's still there, but I know he's there because he was with another former teammate from UMass in Sweden at one point.
And then the one name that stands out from your time at UMass is Jonathan Quick.
Yeah.
Did you know then that he was going to be what he became?
He was a pretty good goalie, yeah. I mean, it was hard to deny that. He left early, and I'm not surprised to see what he's accomplished, but at the same time, it's crazy that he has. I'm sure even he, in his wildest dreams, wasn't too sure that he would do as well as he did. But yeah, I'm incredibly proud to be able to say I play with him, and it's great for the school.
And then when you left UMass, you ended up in the Nashville Predators organization.
Yeah.
Because you weren't drafted, were you?
No.
Did they just scout you out and sign you up?
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're going to your senior year. Obviously, there's some rules with the NCAA in regards to talking to agents and professional teams. So you don't really know exactly who's interested in you. And then, it was the second year done. I got back in, I think, at 2 a.m. back from the Frozen. We just missed out on the Frozen Four ice hockey tournament. And I think I got a phone call at like 7:30 in the morning just saying, do you want to play professional hockey? And then the opportunity came up with Milwaukee first. And I mean, obviously I jumped at it, and I'm glad I did.
Because where is Milwaukee in relation to the UMass? Because my geography is terrible.
It's a ways, yeah. It's a flight. It's
so how quick
Milwaukee's kind of Midwest, and then I was more out east.
So when did you have to pack up? Was it literally within a day?
That day, yeah. That day they had a flight booked for me.
Oh.
I went to, I think I flew out of Hartford, Connecticut, which is only 45 minutes from the school, and then it's a crazy turnaround. I gotta say, like, you're so used to college where you're, being a senior, you're comfortable there for 4 years, and then all of a sudden you're, professionally, you're just kind of by yourself. You just next man up. They slot you in. You're expected to perform, and yeah, it was overwhelming, but a very cool experience at the same time.
Was that an entry-level AHL deal then?
Yeah, actually, at that point, right after college, you're just kind of more of like a PTO type of thing. Like you're there. I think they sign you to the American League deal, and then you're not trapped into the year after that. You just kind of play out the year, and that was a cool opportunity for sure. And
you got to play in the AHL playoffs in your first professional taste as well.
Yeah, that was interesting because I obviously, when you're a senior, you look forward to that senior spring semester because once hockey's over, you don't have a whole lot of obligation in regards to like early morning workouts and stuff, so you can really enjoy yourself and be proud of the 4 years you put in. And obviously I was gone for 2 months of that, and actually my girlfriend, my wife now, my girlfriend at the time, she had transferred to my school, and she was stuck in a hockey house with 3 other players in our team while I was out playing professional. And yeah, there's a few hockey parties that got a little out of hand, but yeah, she stuck with me. So.
Is she a fan of the game, or is she?
No, I don't think she was before. Yeah, still to say, I think she follows it because I enjoy it, but I wouldn't say she follows it too closely.
And then you stuck with Milwaukee. Was it already as I said, was it like an entry multi-year thing? Or
No,
did you
actually,
re-sign with them?
no. My entire career has just been year to year, and yeah, I just I liked it there. I was given a pretty good opportunity. It was odds were stacked against me initially because just with
especially you're not drafted.
Undrafted, yeah. So you're already sitting behind 6 or 7 draft picks at the American League level, and so you gotta put your work in. And fortunately for me, it worked out, and I think they liked me, so it just was easy to keep coming back. And then from there, just went a little bit further down the road south to Chicago, which that was very professional, close as you can get pretty much without actually making it.
And then, as you say, the odds were against you, but you only played 3 ECHL games. You pretty much stuck to the American League the entirety of your time out there.
Yeah, it was actually my first year. 2 or 3 of us went down. What happened was the Nashville team, they had a couple of guys injured, so they got sent down for like a conditioning stint, I think they call it. And so for a weekend, me and another forward got sent down to Cincinnati, and that was fun. They actually had a really, really good team there. But it's always like a bit of a heartbreaker when you get set down, because I guess they had told me that was just for the weekend I'd be called back up. But again, you just never know in this business. And I actually walked into the place where I was staying, and it was like a single little lamp. It was a queen-size bed on a king-size frame. So I had to like hop into bed, or I'd hit my shins on the metal that was sticking out. So I was like, oh boy, where exactly are we right now? But they had a great group of players down there. I had a blast, and I did well. So I was right back up again, and was fortunate enough to be able to play the rest of my American League career there.
And then your first few years in Milwaukee, you've got some, again, I always go back to the teammates kind of thing. You've got some incredible teammates on that team, like Rich Peverley, who had a good NHL career. You've got Sheldon Brookbank and Kevin Klein, who both different ends of their careers at that stage of the season. But to learn off a guy like Sheldon Brookbank as you come up as a rookie, did he help you at all?
Yeah, actually, I only played with him just for a short little bit because he was a full-time in the NHL, and then I think he actually ended up switching organizations. But yeah, there's a few guys like Rich Peverley for sure, just a professional. A guy named Alex Henry. Just the way they handle themselves, you if you're smart, you pick up on those things. You watch how they do things, and you just kind of replicate what they do rather than having to be told what to do. People respect you a bit more if you can just pick up on that kind of thing and be like kind of a low maintenance guy. Someone doesn't have to constantly be like told what to do. Hey, do this. Hey, pick up this type of thing. So just you watch how they quietly just kind of get the work done. They still enjoy themselves for sure. I mean, it is professional hockey, so it's fun, but they look after business, that's for sure. And
then you must have come up at the same time as Kevin Klein, because you guys are roughly similar ages, aren't you?
Yeah, but he was there. He didn't do college, so when he hit professional, he was still 18, 19, I'm guessing. Okay. So I played with him a little bit again when I got called up from college, and then that was kind of, he'd done his 2-3 years in the American League, and the next year he was up full time.
Because we were lucky enough to see him for SC Bern when the Panthers played them.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Because after he'd done his NHL retirement because of his bad back or something.
Yeah.
And then he was with Bern, so to see him over here, it's just, you can just tell once he's got the puck, everything slows down.
Yeah, he's a smart defenseman, and yeah, a very good career.
And then you went from college playing with Jonathan Quick to the AHL playing with Pecorino.
Yeah.
That's some backstops you've had.
Oh, yeah. Pecorino, he's pretty impressive. I remember...
Because he's massive as well.
He's huge, and he's so big, and he has just interesting technique. He uses his glove a lot. I remember I came in for the first practice, came down, took a slap shot, and he just like scooped it off the ice like it was nothing. Like I was playing catch with him. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to beat this guy? But he's actually he's a great teammate. Again, I didn't have a chance to play with him for many years because it was pretty obvious where he was headed. So yeah, I think he's done well there. Obviously, they like him in Nashville, and I don't see him necessarily going anywhere else.
And then when you went to Chicago, like you said, down the road, what influenced that decision?
It was one of those things where with Milwaukee, you know, he'd been there 3 years. I hadn't really necessarily gone up or down or anything like that. I enjoyed it, but I think it was time to move on. And it's just kind of how it works here. You kind of talk to your agent and see the options. At that point, I was contemplating possibly going to Europe at that point, but I'd just gotten married. So when I'm married in July, and then obviously European hockey, you have to leave August. So I didn't think I could physically be where I wanted to be, shape-wise, to leave that early. So I was actually on my honeymoon when the Chicago came up, and I had heard great things. So obviously play against them. There's a bit of a rivalry there between Milwaukee.
You're in the same
and Wolves.
divisions, aren't
Yeah, and they're only, I don't know, an hour away from each other. With traffic, it could be 5 hours.
Because are they the Blues organized?
They flip flop everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I think right now they're Vegas.
Okay.
But when I was there, they were well, it was the Thrashers, but then became the Jets, and then I think now they were Vancouver, and now they're Vegas or something.
Okay.
Or no, Vancouver, St. Louis, and then I think Vegas. But yeah, I heard great things, and it was a great deal, so I signed it, and that was definitely some of the best years I've had. They have that organization, right from the owner to the people behind the scenes. It's extremely professional, and they look after the players that, you know, work hard on the ice, and they just want to win. They don't care if you're drafted, undrafted, where you come from. They want the best players.
And I'm just going to go back to Milwaukee very briefly, because I missed off two names that are both very Panthers.
What do you got for me here?
Brian Schmidt.
Yeah, just briefly.
Yeah. He played 2 years with the Panthers.
Oh, did he? Okay.
And Kelsey Wilson.
Okay, Wilson. Yeah, I know him better because he
won the Grand Slam. He's on that poster.
Did he?
Yeah. He came in mid-season.
Did he?
And he was part of the team that won everything over here.
Really? Yeah. I know him a little bit better because I played with him for maybe 2 full years there. But he was kind of like your energy guy. Yeah, very tough fighter guy in the American League. A great teammate on and off the ice. So I'm not surprised to see that he did well here.
And I think he after he came with us, I think he ended up with a season in Coventry as well, so he stuck out for a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, he came in, and I think his first game for Coventry, they beat us.
No, did they?
I think he quite enjoyed it.
Right.
So when you're in Chicago, proving that the Elite League is such a very small world that people always gravitate towards each other, one of your former Steelers teammates was out there, in Andre DeVoe. I know he wasn't in Sheffield very long. Yeah. But he's had a good career in America.
Yeah, I knew Devo from obviously in the Chicago days, and then he was with us in Sheffield just for a little bit. Just part of the business. Sometimes you go certain places, doesn't work out. But yeah, and then there's a couple other guys from Chicago, I think, right?
Michael Davies.
Michael Davies, who's there now. Yeah,
plays in Sheffield. Currently. Matt Climmy. Yeah, from last year.
That's right.
And Jan Solve.
Oh yeah, that's right. Who's here? He's a good defenseman, good guy. Actually, all those guys are good guys. I played with Climbs a little bit last year, and then Mike. I played with him a couple of years in Chicago. He initially was up and down between American League and East Coast, and then he's a talented guy. He stuck with Chicago, and I think he actually played maybe a year or two after I left. And then Climb, he's playing in Australia right now. I think actually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think he's retiring or whatever, but
that's kind of a semi-pro league out there, isn't it?
I think. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but.
So when he came to Nottingham, he stole a few games here.
Yeah, no, he's a great goalie, and it's one of those things that just, like you said, it's a tough business sometimes. You have, especially when you come in, it's tough to come in midway through the year because you have to perform right away, and if you haven't been playing anywhere, sometimes it takes a little bit to.
And especially if you haven't played anywhere with the ice dimensions of the ice, going from the smaller ice to the
bigger
ice.
Yeah, that can definitely be an adjustment for anyone that's only played on large ice. It can be tough to sometimes come to a league that has smaller ice surfaces.
And then and you must have really loved Chicago because you stuck there for 3 years.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. My wife and I love that city. Is an amazing city. And again, what made it so great, it was also the organization. Had to not maybe a different owner and stuff, maybe you don't enjoy yourself as well. But like I said, they did flip flop a little bit in regards to NHL affiliate. But for their players that were there, there was I think 3 or 4 of us that stayed the same over those 3 years I was there. So you get these tight relationships with these guys on and off the ice and their families, and the wives become friends. So yeah, it was a very enjoyable time.
And then what was it that, as you said, you thought about Europe previously? What was it that made you make the jump at the end of that third year?
Well, I'll just say, like, American League, there's rules about when it comes to if you played so many games, veteran, and if you once you become a veteran, each team, I don't even know what the rule is now, but at the time I think it was 5. And then some teams carry 6. So at that point, you just have to kind of weigh all the odds. Like, your chances of going up are starting to dwindle as you've been there for so long. And I've heard great things about tons of, like you see the little short list here already, but lots of friends have gone over to Europe and played. So, when I first went over, it was going to be just the last year. We're just going to go over for 1 year and enjoy it, travel. But kind of got off to a rocky start because I blew my MCL out maybe 5 or 6 games in. I was playing very well.
This is at Vienna.
In Vienna, yeah. We played in that. It wasn't called the Champions League at the time.
Oh, it's like the Euro Cup or something.
Yeah,
It had
a different name.
I remember I saw the name the other week. I was like, that can't be the real name. Like, it doesn't sound. It sounds like a game that doesn't have the official rights to the name of the tournament. But then, no, that's actually what it's called.
I know. So I was there, and then I got injured, and the team wasn't doing well. So I ended up. Again, it's crazy how things work out. What seems like it could be a bad situation turned out to be great. I went from there to Sweden, and then at that point, we just keep enjoying it every year. My wife and I, and now our family, have 2 kids now. So yeah, we're just kind of taking it year to year, and have really been enjoying it in the different spots we've been in. Feel fortunate to have traveled as much as we travel at such what we consider a young age. A lot of people don't get to travel till later in life. So just have taken a positive outlook and see where it takes me. And
what was the culture change going from North America to Austria to begin with? Vienna's in Austria, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got that geography right. What was the culture change like? Because, I remember when I was talking to Jason, he was saying that it's just a completely different world. Everything is more relaxed.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And again, coming from Chicago, which is extremely professional, to Vienna, which is, again, very professional, but there's just certain things you could take some getting used to. For instance, you travel a lot more in North America. So I remember my first actual game with them, I'm used to showing. It was a road game. I'm used to just showing up at the bus. You get in the bus and you go to the game. And I was watching guys carrying their bags onto the bus. I'm like, I didn't realize that. So I get off and I go pack my bag and put my bag on the bus. I'm like, okay, perfect. I get to the game and I'm like, can I get my sticks? And they're like, you didn't pack them? And I said, no. No one told me I had to pack. Because I'm just used to it kind of being done, because a lot of times it's rushed and they have people working behind. Again, they work hard, but it's not just to sound spoiled. Just I wasn't used to it. And then sure enough, they found me a stick, and then my gitch. Usually we have a separate bag for your laundry because it gets washed right away. That doesn't happen there, so I had to wear someone else's jock. My first game. So first game I have my different sticks, different jock. It was quite the experience. And then pregame meal on the way there. Wasn't at a restaurant because it was their first time. I think we were off to Bratislava or something, and we just sat on the curb of the highway at a gas station and was eating out of a little plastic bin. So a bit of a culture shock, yeah, for sure. Guys are kind of laughing at me a little bit because many of them have come from where I came from and were saying it's trying to. I wasn't too worried about it. I don't get too worked up, but they're like, yeah, it's not always gonna be like this. It's just like a random, time. It happens to be your first experience over here. But the culture, as you mentioned, is a lot different because there's definitely a lot more politics back home in regards to, because people are constantly on the move, like up, down, traded. We're here, it's more like this is when you show up, this is your team. There's not, guys can be moved in and out, but it's not quite as much as like a weekly thing. It's maybe a couple guys that throughout the whole year.
Because also in North America, you've got to deal with the fact that people who have been drafted, there are people within that organisation who are invested in that person doing well. So they will always look to that person to put them in a spot to succeed, rather than someone who's came in.
Yeah, and that can be that's definitely something you got to learn to deal with and play through. Because I don't. Some players handle it better than others. I can see how it's frustrating if you're doing the work and someone else just keeps getting opportunity after opportunity, but you just have to understand that's the business. Like you said, they've invested, they've spent a draft pick on this person, probably invested more money in this person, so they want this person to succeed, type of thing. But sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
So you get injured playing for Vienna. Did they then just agree to release you? Was that mutual?
Yeah, it was kind of like just a tough. Again, everything can be timing sometimes. Like it wasn't like it was a bad. We understood each other very well, and then at that point that was kind of new to me, so that was a bit of like limbo. We're like, okay, so now what do we do here? But just we kind of hung out there for a week, maybe a week and a half, and then this thing popped up in the SHL in Linköping, and then you just all of a sudden you show up there and you're in New Jersey, and so it was a cool experience. It's something actually I've learned from, just how to adapt to a new team and kind of just fall in line. That my experience helped me, I think, be successful at that.
And then to go from the EBL, which is a very good league, to the SHL, which is probably the third best league in the world behind the NHL and the KHL, that must have been the speed of the game. I imagine is a bit different.
Yeah, maybe just different style too, because everyone can skate. So it's a pretty defensive. Not necessarily doesn't mean there's not skilled plays, but it's just that everyone can skate. So it's a lot harder to get around, and they play a very disciplined game. But I enjoyed it. I kind of found a role there where it was more on the defensive side of things. But it's great because they understand the importance of everybody's role in the team, which I really enjoyed there. And there's only 2 or 3 imports on the team, but Swedish people, they speak very good English, so
I know. From speaking to William and people, his English is better than mine.
Right? Yeah, seriously, that's what I mean. Like, so you can. There's no communication barriers or anything like that. We really enjoyed Sweden the couple years we were there.
And then the first half a year in Sweden, you went on quite a deep playoff run that year as well with 14 games.
Yeah, it was me and another player, another forward came in. He was from Canada as well, and they weren't doing well at the time. I think that's why they're looking to make changes. And we were fortunate enough to kind of be a part of that momentum that kind of carried us into playoffs. And we had some pretty big wins and weren't too far off. Had a couple injuries near the end, but made it, I think, a lot further than they expected at the time when we initially transferred to the team.
Because the fans in Sweden are incredible as well, aren't they? They pack their stadiums and they make a lot of noise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hockey's definitely a big sport there. The rinks are all, for the most part, that I can remember, very professional, great size, because like you said, they're always full for the most part. Some are crazier than others. But yeah, they're very passionate about it, which makes it fun. Even when you're on the road, even if they're not cheering for you, it's still fun to play in front of a packed house.
Then you must have really enjoyed it in Linköping because you re-signed there as well.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where I think just seemed to be a perfect situation. They liked the type of player I was, and like I said, we really enjoyed the little town we were in, and we had some other friends in the league as well. And also a lot of the imports that were there that year were also going to come back, so just made for an easy decision.
It's like a run it back thing. We got so close, we'll try
type of thing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that second year in Linköping, only 11 games.
Yeah, again, just I was fortunate for a lot of my American League career not to get too many injuries, but it was a freak concussion that happened during practice. Just happened to get tied up with a guy, and I ended up cutting my head actually on the dasher, and I was out for a little bit. Again, I don't remember, but I'm thankful that the Swedish, the doctors and the trainers, at the time they took concussions very seriously. So I didn't have any setbacks. It was a long recovery for sure, but I'm glad I did it how they had it set out step by step, because I have had zero effect from that incident since.
Because back then, was that when? Because concussions weren't overly at the forefront back then either, were they?
I think they were just starting to, and in Sweden they were taking almost like one of the front runners and like really looking after the players and understanding that it can be a serious injury and one not taken lightly. So I'm glad I was there with the set of doctors and trainers they had, because I came back and if you've never had one before, it's your first time. You're just a little bit nervous, and when you first get back on the ice, because you hear those stories about people getting one, then they get two, three. But yeah, thankfully I fully recovered, and I haven't had incidents since.
And what does the recovery and rehab for a concussion look like? What do you have to go through too?
It can be tedious at the start. Like, it's depending how bad it was. Mine was fairly severe, so I was feeling like the effects. Like, I visibly was I was getting headaches, and I could just didn't feel right, if you can describe it that way. It's hard to actually describe it through words, but you can definitely watching TV and stuff was a bit of a strain. Walking around for sure with people crossing in front of you, definitely it was a unique experience. But what they do is always they give you the time to rest the brain, and then as you come back, it's a very step-by-step procedure. And if you ever have a setback, it's not like you just go back to the previous one. You go all the way back to the start, and then you build it all the way back up. And luckily, I never had any setbacks where I had to go, so it was just a gradual, and then you start skating, and they put you through a pretty tough physical off-ice test, where you're maxing out just to see how your head responds to that. And if you pass that, then it's full practice and then contact. And even when you're cleared to play the first few games back, you almost hope someone gives you a bit of a hit just to see how okay, it's fine, let's go play type of thing. So you're not always just wondering oh God, please don't let this one affect me.
And did you stick with Linköping through your whole recovery? Did they keep you out there for that?
Oh yeah. You're there day to day, and again, we had a great group of guys, because being injured, I mean, one of the worst parts about being injured is the fact that you are a bit removed from the team, because you're on your own training, and you don't want to kind of get in the way of the guys on the game day that are there to play the game, which is the most important. So kind of a bit of an outcast at times, but I felt very much involved still.
So when did you decide to make the jump to Norway that year?
So that was, I came back, I recovered, and then without getting too much detail, the team I was on was having financial issues, so a couple guys.
Because in Europe, they'll just cut bait. If they're not doing well, they'll cut bait at the end of the year, won't they? Some European, I know Italian teams can do that sometimes.
Yeah, no, not so much. You're pretty protected. It's a pretty professional in the Swedish league, so it was never a concern of that. It was more of just if they could not have to pay the full amount if someone else will. You know what I mean? So again, that was one of the situations, was unique, but I'd kind of been through it once before, and you just, like I said, it may seem like a bad situation, but it turned into something great in Stavanger. Obviously, again, a very professional organization there
in Stavanger.
Yeah, right from the owner. He's takes pride in his team, and welcoming people into not only his team but his city. I quite enjoyed the team there, and obviously there was a great team, and we had lots of success.
And like I say, you turned up for 6 regular season games and 15 playoff games, and you ended up leaving a Norwegian champion.
Yeah.
So to go from having a concussion earlier in the year to winning a title at the end of it, that must be an incredible feeling.
It was, and that's one of those ones where if you learn from your experiences, just staying positive throughout the whole thing. It's not always easy, but if you just stick to what you know and trust who you are as a player, that things like that can happen, where it just, I wouldn't say comes full circle, but it paid off in the long run.
And if this list I have is correct, that was your first championship.
Yeah,
what did that mean to you?
That was cool. Yeah, I guess in the American League, I've always been fortunate enough to be part of a playoff team, that's a little different over there. Like, making the playoffs, that's considered somewhat of a success. If you obviously always want to win the end final round, but coming over here where it was a lot of teams were the league, it means their playoffs are nothing. Take a back seat to the league championship. So that was, I think my third or fourth game, they had clinched the league, so there's a bit of celebration for there. That was a bit overwhelming, what are we celebrating here type of thing. But I really enjoyed that one, because that was a full playoff round. It came right down to Game 7 in the final round, and we won it at home. So that was a very cool experience to finally break that barrier. And because I didn't realize at the time either, and I realized it more as I've continued to play, that there are many players that haven't even had a chance at winning anything, let alone actually have won something. So it's something I definitely don't take for granted, and feel very fortunate to be part of.
And then I will admit that I have got a bit of prior information on this one from I'm going to dob him in, Guy Doucette, because he asked me who I was doing next on this, and I was going through, there's just some gaps in his career. And then you perhaps probably had the greatest season ever off and on the ice when you signed for Rouen.
Yeah.
Because you took a break after winning the championship in Norway because of the birth of your daughter.
Yeah, it was actually, well, it's a pretty cool story, actually. My wife and I had to do in vitro for our child in Sweden, which, if it's a very small world, that world. It is not a fun experience. It has its up and downs. But anyways, I'll focus just on the positives of the story. So in making that transition from Sweden to Norway, we were going through IVF at the time, and it was kind of our last chance in Sweden before we were maybe going to take a break from that as well. So actually, we were both at the airport. My wife was leaving to go back to Canada because she was getting her permanent residency done there, and I was going to leave to go to Norway. I was only going to be there for a couple months, and we found out I think the morning of that, our last chance after this is 3 or 4 attempts at it, just nothing was coming up right, that it was a success. We found out we were pregnant at the Swedish airport, and we were ready to leave. Yeah, so it was really cool. We obviously were ecstatic, celebrated.
And you get to celebrate that together as well.
Yeah, that's another thing that was so cool about it. So then, I go to Norway, great success there, and then I decided, with all the struggle we've been through over the summer, I just happened to tell my agent, I need to take a break. I want to have my child in Canada, where we'll just be more comfortable. We take her home to our house, which is that was great. And honestly, it was the first time I experienced, like, usually I'm always gone by August, so I got to experience like a little bit of fall. I was home for Thanksgiving. I got to be home for Christmas, which is like amazing to me. I'm a big Christmas guy. And our daughter was born in October, so I didn't have 2 or 3 months. But then, I don't know, I kind of got a little bit bored. I was like, all right, okay, what am I going to do? You start to give yourself serious thought about like life after hockey. And I was like, you know what, I really enjoy playing. I think I still can play. So France came up, and I had a friend, Jason Krog, who was playing there, and he said, yeah, like, we're looking for, we need an extra guy, and looking to make a change. So I went there, and so I hadn't actually skated in a game since we won in Norway.
What's that last game?
Yeah.
You win that championship.
Yeah.
You've not touched the ice since.
I had touched the ice a couple times in December with a friend of mine's beer league team. And so, like, it was kind of funny, like, here I am getting ready to gear up to play hockey, and, like, these guys are eating pizza and stuff after the game in Powerades. And I said, all right, well, I'm out of here. I'm off to go play in France. So my very first game, there was something wrong with the scheduling. I didn't get a chance for a practice before. It's in Paris in front of 18,000 people, and it's called the Coupe de France, which is like their Challenge Cup type of thing. It's the finals. And sure enough, I'm playing, and they got me out there. I'm playing a ton of minutes, and it's I think a minute left, and they have me out there. The goalie pulled, and I'm just kind of thinking to myself, geez, you guys have battled so hard, like, I just got here type of thing. But anyways, we ended up winning that, which is really cool. So then I was joking with my buddies, like, oh, how is it, professional hockey? I'm like, well, actually, not much has changed, because after the game we had pizza in the locker room, but rather than Powerade, being France, we had champagne. So that was kind of a cool experience. And then I want to say maybe 2 weeks later, we win the Continental Cup, which again was really cool. And then we won the playoffs that last year, at the end of the season. So yeah, that was a pretty wild turnaround for sure. Becoming a dad, and then we won a ton of stuff there, that's for sure, that year. And well,
that's a stretch that you're going to be tough to top ever. Yeah,
I know. I was just we were joking with a couple of guys in the team. I was like, oh gosh, maybe I should be done. This is as good as it's ever going to get. But I enjoyed it there. Very cool town. And again, I knew someone going in, which made it easy, because there's a bit more of a language barrier there. It's not as many people speak English there, but yeah, great fans, and obviously big success.
And then playoffs MVP as well.
Yeah, and it was crazy. I mean, I fit well in the role that they wanted me to play, which is a little more offensive guy, and they had a great group there, like really just a skilled team. We were quite strong offensively. Got a great goalie too. So to kind of put back-to-back together championships was very cool.
And I'm guessing that's just what made you re-sign in Rouen then.
Yeah, for sure. We're just kind of like, all right, well, that was fun. And we hadn't had a huge chance of exploring a lot, because we were only there for 3 or 4 months, and we love Paris, but there's a few other areas that we.
Is Rouen near Paris then?
It's about an hour and a half, maybe, I guess, depending on traffic. But there's some other places that we got to see that were like Beaches Normandy was kind of a cool one. Even though I'm not American, that was just there's just so much history there when it comes to like the war and stuff. That there was like some pretty cool spots to see.
And then you played there with a guy called Chad Langley.
Yeah,
who played for Belfast and Sheffield.
That's right.
Did he have? I know from the stories that Paul Thompson was chasing you for a few years after he took over at Sheffield. But did you speak to Chad about that organisation?
Yeah, not necessarily the organization specifically, more about just
The Elite League.
The Elite League in general, yeah, because I had some teams from this league reach out to me even during the year. So I just was asking him. It's something I knew about the league at that point. And my wife and I have always kind of wanted to, very interested in just with it being English and now having a family, and things are just a little bit easier when there's not a language barrier. And we've heard just pretty much great things from everyone we've talked to. If you talk about some of the players I play with, I know a lot of them come here, not necessarily to Nottingham, but in the league, and you ask them how things work, and everyone's just, said some pretty good things. So it was a great decision, I think, after our second. We kind of had our time in France. It was good. Weren't really interested in going back, and we're kind of excited. Again, I'm taking everything year to year, so you don't know how things are going to pan out, but definitely was excited to get an opportunity in this league the year after that.
Were you, and you said you mentioned that you were semi-aware of it. What point did you become aware of the Elite League?
I think just some buddies that had signed there, like you see every year, that time of year, it seems to be like your friends are saying, okay, I'm off to this place this year, or I'm going this way, so names just kind of come up, and you check in to see, okay, they're playing there or whatever. And it's crazy how, you may happen to look at a roster of a guy personally, but then you recognize 5 or 6 names that you may have played against or at least heard about. And I've noticed that with quite a few teams in this league, that it seems to really be improving, and a lot of really good players are coming to this league.
And then you signed for one of probably the top 4 organisations in the Elite League in Sheffield. What were your experiences when you first got there, and what was your first experience, your first taste of Elite League ice hockey? Because I know if it's the same as Tim's, it was in Manchester.
Yeah, I don't. We had. I enjoyed it. We had quite a few exhibition games, so like that was, the exhibition games are basically just get a feel and don't get injured. Basically, is the whole idea of them. And my first year would have been the same as Tim, so I guess I would have been Manchester too. I can't.
Because he was telling me how he had a fight, he'd done all this.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember he had that fight. Yeah, that's funny. Manchester is, and now that I've been there, for new guys that haven't been there, I always like to give them a little bit of a scare when it comes to there.
Because it's just tighter, isn't it? It's everything.
Honestly,
different.
The ice surface alone is fine. I actually enjoy playing there because it's just something different. But the rink itself is a bit older. The dressing rooms are not great accommodations, so that's always a bit of a shock to a lot of guys. And
then first year in the Elite League, whilst the team didn't come with any success, you had a personal success that year, being named to the EIHL All-Star second team, and also the Continental Cup's best defenseman. What was it like going back into that competition again?
That was enjoyable. Honestly, I do like that. It's just fun to, like you said, break it up a little bit. You don't have a lot of road trips here. I know you play on the road, but you're back at your home every night. So that's one thing I definitely miss about North American style, because it brings the team closer together. So like in these Continental Cups, when you get to go away, you really get to see people away from their families and get to really know your teammates a lot more. So that's always enjoyable. And then the fact that you more times than not are seeing a new country, playing against different teams with different styles of play. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And that year was a great year. We had pretty much close you can be without having success. You're at least right there in the big games, which is, that's, as I said before, that's kind of rare. Some people don't even get a chance to do that. So I enjoyed that, that's for sure.
And as you say, that was a team that came close to. So you came so close in the Continental Cup. You came very close in the playoff final. I think it was that Cardiff ran into the juggernaut that was Cardiff that year. Mm-hmm. So that just shows that it was a great group that you were a part of that year in Sheffield.
Yeah, that was. It was a great group, actually. That was another nice adjustment, because at that point, it was the first time I had switched teams, become a completely new face in a couple of years. So it was a really good group. And with there being so many imports, I think it makes it a touch easier at times, because you're all kind of going through the same thing, like adjusting to a new area and stuff like that. And the British guys there were unbelievable, and yeah, it was fun.
And with Sheffield, they're British guys. They are part of that organisation. You Ben O'Connor, Robert Dow, Jonathan Phillips, and everything you hear about them is they're so welcoming to the imports, and they help you set the scene in Sheffield, don't they?
Yeah, and I would actually echo that same here with the British players here. There actually hasn't been a British player that I haven't really enjoyed, because like you said, you can tell, say those 4 guys in Sheffield, they really take pride in British ice hockey. I can tell that with the players here. And I respect that, and that's one of those things that you almost want to like come in and do well for these guys, make sure you get the job done, because they're here every year, and they take pride in getting better, and not just individually, but obviously with their success now with GB. That's pretty cool to see, and I'm excited for them.
It's probably a little bit different here, because we obviously had the turnover in the off-season with Steve Lee going to Guildford and Robert Farmer going out to Germany. So you can now have guys like Lacko and Ollie have now had to step up to that mantle, and even Josh Tetlow is probably the 3rd senior guy on the team.
Yeah.
I always forget that Brett is British because of his accent. It always throws me. that it's like it's almost a new guard almost, with those guys stepping up to that plate for them this year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they've done a phenomenal job so far, and yeah, they make it a good atmosphere at the rink. It's never the worst is when if you ever find yourself hating to have to go to the rink every day, well then that's
a
not
problem.
a good sign. Yeah.
And that first year in Sheffield, did you strike up a friendship with Tim when you were there?
Yeah, he was. It's similar to a lot of these places. Sometimes the imports not necessarily live right.
Because the word I used to describe Tim is he's a character.
Yeah, for sure. He likes his board games for sure. And I do too. So and our wives get along well, and obviously he played in Sweden as well. So there's a bit of that connection too. But yeah, he was a smart player. I enjoyed playing with him, and also we hung out off the ice as well.
And then you must have really liked it in Sheffield, as I keep saying about everyone. You seem to go 2 years in Europe in these places. You must have really liked it in Sheffield to re-sign there.
Yeah, it was, and again with the player-coach role as well.
Did you have that from the start there that year? Then?
Yeah, that was something I was offered after the first year I was there, and I enjoyed that role. Obviously, it was a bit of an up. It was Tomo leaving and Tom coming in.
And you took over. Was it 2 weeks you took over?
Yeah, that was.
It must have been a cool. As in, it's sad circumstances, but a cool experience for you on a personal level.
Yeah, again, one of those things where you can never predict it, and some guys may look at it as a tough situation to be in. I thought the opposite. I thought it was kind of cool to grab that type of experience. It's just being for a couple weeks. I don't think you can long term. I don't think it's a recipe for success, because it's too hard to manage the bench when you're also on it. So it's good to always have the guy standing behind you just to kind of manage the bench and stuff. But I did enjoy it. Thought I did a pretty good job, and then I just continued to kind of pick up and grow in that role, and just kind of you go think about like what would you do if you were the kind of the head boss and stuff like that, and work on your communication skills. But something I enjoyed, and I feel fortunate to have again this year.
And you took is it a slap shot to the foot at the end of the year?
No, it was actually against Nottingham.
Oh.
I can't remember the player. Might have been Perlini, actually. I don't know. Can't confirm it.
Oh, no.
But
it was just starts.
It was just one of those situations where I got tangled up with a couple Nottingham players, and then stick got caught, and I bent funny backwards. I ended up breaking my leg. So I snapped a bone on my fibula down near the ankle. Yeah, and unfortunately, it was a pretty bad one. I think it also had a mixture of high ankle sprain as well. So yeah, that took me actually quite a while to recover from, even after the season was over. But again, you got to be patient when it comes to injuries. I thought about possibly forcing it. There's no way I could skate on it. So
the opportunity that gave you as well, that gave you a chance to stand behind the bench and view the game from that, rather than being player coach. You're still player coach, but then you get to actually just stand on it, and it's a different game from back there, isn't it?
Different game, and definitely different game prep. Like when it's your game day, you're thinking, okay, you got to rest physically. You have to rest or maintain your energy. Whereas your coach, you want to have some energy, sure, but like it's not going to be quite the physical exertion that it is when you're playing. And even when you get to the rink, usually it's like you get there and you have this routine you go through. So it's like stretch, warm up, do this, do that, have a coffee or whatever it happens to be. Varies on different guys. And then coaching, you kind of just get there, and most guys, tons of time to prepare. So when you get there, the game plan's already. It's not like you're coming up with it right then and there. You have your little meeting, and it's kind of a lot of just sitting around, which is an adjustment for sure. It makes things seem a little bit longer. But even I noticed with that, you start to get into a bit of routine, and then time doesn't seem to go by quite as slow. And then in the game and stuff, I'm a pretty composed player on the ice, and I try and I'm obviously going to be composed as a coaching style
watching
as
up
well.
top, nothing seems to bother you at all.
Well, I just try and make notes about things, or then it was nice to be able to speak freely. Tom Barrasso was an excellent coach and even better.
You just have to look at his CV to appreciate.
Yeah, and he's been everywhere, so it was really cool. Not just to like pick up when he said, but he would allow me to say my opinion, type of thing. So it was good to see whether he agreed with it at times or thought, okay, maybe look at it this way. That was something that I really appreciate him doing, and I think I've learned and grown in that role from that.
I say you can't not learn from a guy like him. I know he didn't like the media side of things. I never got an interview out of him when Sheffield came here. Would never come and see me. But from the hockey side of it, you couldn't have asked for a better tutor, kind of, to come in for the rest of that year.
Yeah, no, it's a guy that's obviously played at the highest level, but then he's also coached in quite a few different places. So yeah, just lots of interesting stories, and he's obviously pretty much seen it all. So
won it all as well.
Yeah, nothing really phases him, and he knows how to. He's been through the ups and the downs, and I was extremely grateful for that experience.
And then you were playing with one of your now former teammates there, in Jackson Whistle, in his second year as a starter at only age. I think he's 24 now, so he would have been 23.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that year for Jackson?
Yeah.
So obviously he split time with Matt when Matt came in.
Yeah, I think again, just it's throughout the year, right? There's ups and downs. So I think at the time when Matt came in, Jackson might have been in a bit of a down spot. That's why they're looking to maybe split time. But then he stuck with it, worked hard, and I think he basically won back the role. And
well, the back end of the year, we couldn't score a goal past him.
Yeah,
over
he
here.
just he played well, and so obviously already shown his game is where it needs to be already. So yeah, I was ecstatic then when he was going to come, because I know he's like coming maybe in that backup role, but it's just they're both, we have some excellent goalies.
It's kind of a 1A and a 1B situation, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's ideal. How do you not look at that and see it as a good situation? And they're both obviously Carsey's a bit more of a veteran. You aren't surprised that he handles himself so well, but then it's nice to see Jackson as well, just very professional in it, because I'm not a goalie, so I'm sure it's tough to sit out a whole game where it's I don't usually do that as a player type of thing, but they both have been great, and I think that's going to be an asset for us moving forward.
And then whilst you were in Sheffield, you really enjoyed your games against the Panthers. I believe you were one of the players who scored one of those last second goals.
Yeah,
against us in Sheffield.
Yeah, you remember those ones, because I obviously with the rivalry, there's a bit of hatred.
Especially when it's in front of such a packed stadium as well.
Yeah,
when they play, it's always full. And you score that goal with a second to go. Yeah, that must be just elation.
Yeah, those are honestly the moments that stick with you. I definitely can think back on 3 or 4, maybe more than that if you count the American League. If you score a kind of a late goal in front of a home crowd, and just you hear that, just because it's even that much more intensified when it's the last few seconds, everyone's zoned in. Where if you score a goal in the first, sometimes people are still up getting their popcorn or whatever. So I've been fortunate enough to be on the ice and score some pretty big goals. Those are the cool experiences that almost push you to keep playing, type of thing. You don't want to ever forget those.
And if there's 3 or 4 goals that you remember, what would you say the top one is out of the 3 or 4 that you remember?
Oh, that's tough.
To put you on the spot.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, not best one. Favorite one.
Favorite one. Well, I'll probably go with more of a recent one.
You're going to go with that one against Nottingham.
Yeah. The one where it was... I
remember your breakaway one on Christmas in here.
Yeah, that was a good one. But there was one at home, and I don't know if it was to tie the game or win the game. I think, what happened was it got dumped down. I looked at the clock. There's 12 seconds left. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I just got to pick this puck up and go. So I end up, meandering up through the neutral zone. I dished it out to actually Matt McQuaw, who's now in Dundee, and he made a nice pass right back to me in the middle, and I'm driving in. And at this point in my head, I'm thinking, there's not a whole lot of time to do a whole lot with this puck, so I just kind of, on my backhand, threw it towards the net, and it found a way through. And then we all looked up the clock. There was like a couple seconds left. But then the roar of the crowd and just the excitement of your teammates around you and the bench, they're kind of all like that, you know. It's just it's really cool. There's probably one of the coolest games I've ever been involved in was in France. And when we won it that year, we were, I think it was our semifinal round. And we were up 3-2 in the series. And we're at home. And the game had not gone well. First period, I think it was like 3-0. Next period, we're like, all right, just chip away, 5-1. So we go in the third period, and we have to then go down to their rink, which is a tough rink to play in. I think we're playing against Gap. And actually, Chad was on the team.
Oh,
Gap. Yeah, because we talked about this, because I obviously played with him in Wand the next year. But so we go out there like, all right, we got to have a push here. But you never know. You're down 5-1. So we get on there, we score 5-2, make it 5-2 right away. And then we're like, oh, okay, this is our chance. They score and make it 6-2. And then at that point, we just kept chipping away. So it became 6-3, 6-4. I think I scored a nice goal to make it like 6-5. And even like you could tell with each guy that scored, like the build-up was just even more and more. And sure enough, we tie it 6-6. And I'm on the ice, and there's like 50 seconds left in the game. And the group we had, we looked at each other like, we're ending it this shift. Like, we were going to score. And sure enough, we get in the zone, and just, like I said, it was one of those groups that everyone was that kind of competitive, and we ended up scoring with 20 seconds left. So we came back and won 7-6. The craziest game I've ever seen. Actually, who was it? I can't think of the guy's last name. Carter. I think he also played here.
Matt Carter.
Maybe. I don't know his first name. But it was one of those ones where it almost seemed like there was something in the air, because he came down when it was 6-5. We had the empty net. And he had a pretty much almost like a clean look at the empty net. He decided to take a slap shot and try and go top shelf. Well, I was on the ice, and thinking the game's over. I'm coming out of the zone, and he missed the net. It rimmed all the way down, back down to his end.
Oh, wow.
I ended up chipping into the middle, and we scored to make it 6-6. So it's like one of those ones you're like, okay, like, is this meant to be type of thing? And then sure enough, we won. And then, I had to imagine that guy was feeling pretty down after the game, knowing that you have a chance to end it on an empty net, and you don't. But that's probably, over here anyways, one of the cooler games I've ever been a part of.
That does sound pretty incredible.
Yeah.
There's got to be highlights of that somewhere.
Well, actually, yeah, and we had a buddy who he was on the team. One of his good friends was playing for the Flames at the time, and he was talking to me. He's like, man, you wouldn't believe this. So I guess too, like, his buddy took it into the Flames locker room and was like showing the highlights. Like, you wouldn't believe this game my buddy was just part of, or whatever. So yeah, it was crazy. I've never, 6-2. You figure in playoffs, teams are gonna close you out. Yeah, it's just the defense. You don't think you're getting an opportunity, and we were just basically like scoring on every opportunity that came our way, and came back to win 7-6. And that honestly was, we went to the next round and we swept and won 4-0. And none of the games were overly close, but like that was like the highlight of the championship.
That just sticks
run.
with you.
Yeah. It was incredible.
That's almost like the defining moment of that championship.
It was, yeah. Honestly, we went into the finals just against a team where, like, we got this type of thing. There's just nothing that's going to stop us. So, like you said, definitely defining moment would be the perfect way to describe it.
And then over the summer just gone, were you waiting for an offer to come back from Sheffield, or were you looking elsewhere anyway?
This summer,
yeah, but before Guy or Tim got in touch with you, or you got in touch with those guys.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where
to take it completely left field from where you just
were
talking.
Yeah. Obviously enjoyed it there. But again, new management comes in. It's just part of the business. So it wasn't. I think we obviously didn't have a very good year as a team. And myself being injured, I think he was taking a good look at things. And yeah, at that time, I wasn't just gonna sit back and kind of wait. So I'm always interested to see what's out there. Even years before, when I've signed back other places, there's been other opportunities, but just kind of, that's what I like to have. It's always nice to have a couple options.
Yeah, so you can pick what you want to do rather than I have to go and do
exactly,
this.
Yeah, because sometimes forcing the issue, and that's what it seemed like. You don't want to force anything. Obviously this opportunity came up, and then you guys being definitely one of the top organizations in the league. I'm happy to now say I'm part of that. And then with Timmy getting the job, I thought that was obviously I enjoy him, and I think he understands the game well just from having played played with him and then against him. It just seemed like a pretty cool experience and something that I thought was a good fit.
Because you were the first new import signed up to the team. I think it sent a few shockwaves around the Elite League in general.
Yeah, just with that was a new experience, like the whole rivalry thing. But again, that's...
Because was it Guy that reached out to you, or did your agents get in touch with him?
I'm not sure exactly how it went down, but I don't know if he knew I was available or was looking. But anyways, yeah, just one of those ones where it's at that point it's part of the business. I don't take it too personally. I don't have any hatred necessarily towards Sheffield.
It's different when you're involved in it rather than being in the stands.
Right. Yeah, and that's just. That's what's great about sports too. Like fans do take it personally, which makes them, great supporters of the game, and I don't let it affect me. Some guys get quite bothered by it. Again, I don't ever take it too personally. I understand where it's coming from and everything, and I had a feeling there was going to be a bit of a reaction when it got announced, but.
Yeah, I think you got the reaction in Sheffield when you had your game there. I think you were the one who got booed the most heavily.
Yeah,
out of you, Jackson and Tim.
Yeah, there was. They rained down just a touch louder, I thought.
I know the game didn't go that well. In the end, didn't go that well. But that one time you scored to open it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was. That was fun. It's always fun to score against a former team. And then obviously, it was a interesting game. And then they, kind of got away from us in the third period. But that was great to have that game right after to come back and kind of get redemption there. And I think if you just look around the league right now, everyone's
beating everyone,
that's excellent. As a fan, you gotta. I hope everyone sees it as a league that you want that. You don't want
parity is what you should strive for.
Right. You don't want the league where it's the same people winning all the time, because it's just, I don't know how that'd be enjoyable. It's as a player even, it's always fun to have exciting games right down to the end. So I think it'll be a fun year. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's even that game in Belfast just gone. It was a millimetre or so from your shot hitting the post from that being a tied game.
Oh yeah, that's exactly, and that's what I love and hate about hockey. The game can change in a matter of seconds, and you can just miss it. That was a pretty close game right up until the end. Again, empty netters, they happen. That's just a team going for it. Why are you just going to sit back and take the loss? Obviously, you're going to try and equalize the game, but with tough travel and everything, I was proud of our group, and I think everyone knows though, whether you win 2 in the weekend or you split or you lose 2, it's always going to be the same business-like mentality at the start of the next week. Because I've noticed when it comes to league play, can't get too high, can't get too low, because it is just a constant kind of battle throughout the whole year.
And then was it the player assistant coach role that made you decide to come to Nottingham? Was that the carrot that kind of drew you?
Yeah, I think there was actually an opportunity as well elsewhere, but this obviously, like you mentioned before, I know there's other good teams, but to be quite honest,
it's the arena teams, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there's definitely two different groups of teams in regards to organization, and yeah, obviously, I think this rink I've had some great fun playing here as an opponent, so it'd be great to play here a lot more as part of the organization. And like I said, it just seemed to be a good fit. I liked what Guy and Tim were trying to build, and I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to help if I could.
And then, as a random question, for my own interest more than anything else, having played at Sheffield and now been in Nottingham for a while, Do you sense any difference in the cultures of the teams at all? What's the biggest difference and biggest similarity between the two, maybe?
No, I mean it's a similar sense that both teams have a lot of pride and want to win. That's definitely similar. I would say there's not a lot of difference, to be honest with you. I think both have good rinks, some of the better rinks in the league, great fans, and yeah, they're pretty similar. And again, I don't take things too personally. I just be me and play the way I like to play, and I hope people respect that. And for the most part, most of my experience, it's been very positive. So
that's one of the cool things about being an athlete, is that you do get the opportunity to experience both sides of a rivalry, whereas a fan would never get that chance to experience the other side of it. So
yeah, that's
quite a cool, unique thing, because not many guys make that transfer to that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and then at the same time, it's kind of fun to. I mean, had you gone somewhere else, you wouldn't be a part of these rivalry games anymore. I mean, I know it's tough to see as a fan, but just being involved in the game is still an exciting game, whether it doesn't matter what side you're on. So I really look forward to those games, and with the way the Challenge Cup and everything's grouped, I mean, there'll be a lot of them. So
yeah. And then you've still evidently got lots of game left, but is coaching something you see in your future? Do you see yourself sticking within hockey?
I mean, I guess I can see it more now than I would have maybe if you asked me 3 or 4 years ago. It's something that's been brought up to me by other people, like organizations I've played for, whether it be ownership or anything. Just ever said, "Hey, are you interested in coaching?" type of thing. So maybe that to me is a positive, that maybe people see something in me, type of thing. But I just take it as an opportunity, like leave no stone unturned, type of thing. Like it was an opportunity given to me in Sheffield, and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to kind of continue it. So like I said, as I can get better and better and grow in that role, and like you said, you always try and think about, okay, like how would I do things, or type things like that. And then obviously working with Wally, who had quite a bit of experience last year, and being a newer coach is kind of cool, because the game has changed so much that sometimes the old school methods, you need to be able to adapt those. They're good at the core, but they don't quite necessarily translate all that well to the game nowadays, because it's not just simple, like set in stone, like go here, go here, go here. There's just, people are so creative, players are faster, pucks, shots go a lot faster, goalies are better.
It's like they say, everyone gets faster, stronger, everything, but the dimensions of the rink stay the same.
Yeah, so you sometimes have to think differently to try and create space out there and find ways to get wins.
And as an assistant coach, what does your role entail? Under Tim Watts, what does it?
It's more of like help in the analysis of the game. So whether it be pre-scouting another team, and then also kind of just being there as sometimes in here, see how, for him to bounce ideas off of how the game went, or maybe trying to implement a new strategy, and then also be there. It's been great with Tim. He's allowed me to voice my opinion on what I think might work or what isn't working, and hey, just so you know, like this could be an opportunity. But very much understanding my role is that he's the head boss, and in that role, I work for him, type of thing, and I'm happy to support him, and I'm grateful that he allows me to kind of suggest things and help out as much as I can with the team.
And when you played with him in Sheffield, did you get any inclination that that's the route he was going to go down?
No, actually, I don't think I don't know if we ever really talked about that, because he's one of the guys, kind of like myself, when you get away from the rink, I don't necessarily want to talk so much about hockey. It's just, I'm more than just a hockey player. Let's talk about something else, whether it be his board games or whatever.
He didn't bring that up when I talked to him for this.
He didn't bring it up?
No.
He's got some interesting ones, and just a competitor. It's fun to like kind of compete in something other than hockey.
He spoke about video games, not board games. That's where he went.
Does he? Yeah,
I think he's trying to look cool for the kids, though, who listen.
Yeah,
to
there
this.
you go. Yeah, have that young translation. I'm definitely not a video gamer. I was, back in the college. I mean, everyone plays a few games, but I'm not so much now. Don't have no time for it, anyways.
No, say, and then with what Tim did in Milton Keynes, then for him to come from that situation to this is just great for him, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll draw on his experiences from that, because I don't. There's nothing to hide there. It wasn't probably the best opportunity or best situation to be in, with,
especially as a first year.
Right, all the organizational issues, and then also having to play as well. I can only imagine that would have been difficult at
He
times.
said that was the toughest part. He finished like a 2-minute shift because they had like two lines.
Yeah.
And then he'd get back to the bench, he'd be doubled over, breathing heavy, and he'd have to try and make adjustments and things. And then straight back out there again.
Exactly. And that's why I had that for 2 weeks. I noticed that. It's almost impossible to effectively do it because you get if you've had a long shift, or even you have your next shift and you're already geared towards your next shift, or like you have a quick review in your mind of like what went right, what went wrong, what could I have done next time. You can't be thinking about what everybody else did right and wrong, to be successful as an individual, but also as the coach. So I could see that being a struggle for him, but again, something that I think is going to make him a better coach now. So.
And then, as an assistant coach, you've got a very interesting stallmate in Josh Tetlow, who's like almost a guy you could take under your wing as a left shot defenseman. What's it been like working with him, playing alongside him and sitting next to him kind of thing?
Yeah, it's been great. He's big. He's tall.
You can't teach that.
Yeah, you cannot teach tall. No, I've actually been really impressed with his play. He's you talk about when I was younger growing up. You watch what other people do, and you can tell he's always wanting to get better and asking just unique questions, not just like fluff questions. He really is interested in knowing, hey, like what can I do here, or even just comfortable just talking about anything type of thing. So he's been a great stallmate, and I hope I can teach him a few things, and I enjoy being on the team with him. And I think if he continues along this path and keeps getting better and better. I mean, you can see already I didn't follow as much, obviously not being the same team, but against him last year, I feel like he's already improved drastically from last year, and the fact that he's more confident in.
He seems to move the puck more now as well.
Yeah,
whereas last year he did.
I think he's a bit more confident making a play with the puck, but also just comfortable knowing that he is a big guy, and he's got the reach and the ability to eliminate some players. Which, I mean, if you're not a bigger guy, it's not as easy. So it's great to see him bringing that physicality to our team.
And probably a bit of strategic positioning by Tim to put you next to him in the locker room as well.
Yeah, I think. I like the spot there. I think that has something to do with it. Also, the fact that it's near the front. So if I ever have to, Tim needs anything. It's just a simple like little head around the corner type of thing. Yeah, it's been good. I like I said, I haven't met a British player I haven't liked yet. So.
And then, what do you think are realistic expectations of this team are this year that's been put together?
I obviously your end goal is to win it all for sure. I mean, if that's not your end goal, then you're already behind the 8 ball. But what I like is that we're not, at least from the team aspect, we're not looking too much further ahead. Like I said,
because Tim's always about one day at a time.
Yeah, the next weekend, which is great. We're not talking about like Continental Cup or whatever. It's just what's our opponent next weekend, and he's made it very clear. Obviously, players that played in the league know how important league points and stuff are, but made it clear that that's every game is extremely important. So you can't have just weekends off and necessarily recover right away. For every weekend you have off, it's just that much longer to try and recoup that, and you gotta hope that other teams lose and stuff. So I think I like that. I like the fact that we're not necessarily putting a certain expectation. The expectation is to win as many points as you can every single weekend. Which I think is a great approach, so that if things don't go well, forget about it, move on. And if things are going well, we'll keep going with that type of thing. So sometimes if you focus too much on that end, and if you lose a few and you just picture where you are in the standings, and that that becomes a mental kind of weight on your shoulders. You're like, oh God, we're not going to finish there. But if you just take it week at a time, obviously as a coaching staff you are aware of and a player aware of the standings, but you're not necessarily thinking about it on a daily basis. So I think that's good. I think we have a good team that, again, any good team, it's not necessarily about, how do I say, having like the superstar performances where like toe dragging.
So the parts of
the flashy,
greater than the sum of its whole kind of thing.
Yeah. You need because to be successful, you look at any league, the highest level, like the St. Louis Blues, like you need your role players to be playing to their best of their abilities in that role. So if you're supposed to be scoring goals, then you're scoring goals. But if you're also a player that's maybe not expected to score goals, but you're scoring goals, you're playing above where you're supposed to be playing on a consistent basis, and we're all, in it together, that's when you have great success.
And then I know you said you don't look ahead to the Continental Cup. I just want to look ahead to the Continental Cup very briefly.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Denmark
Okay.
is Denmark's. Have you been? Did you play there in any of your Continental Cup before? Is this going to be a new country
No,
for you
I
to
think
visit?
our first.
So you went to Belarus with Sheffield.
Yeah, but the first round or this round that we're going to was in Denmark.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
was it the same arena or a different team?
It was a different team, yeah, a different arena. I can't remember. I know we were pretty close to Copenhagen.
Because this is one where Guy's wife is from.
Okay.
It's near. Well, she's from Billund, and this is an hour away from there.
Yeah, I've had a couple friends that play in the league. I think it's a smaller town, good hockey town. But that's the team that's hosting that round of it.
Because there's a former Panthers netminder to go out against out there, in Patrick Galbraith.
Oh, is there? Is that where he is?
He was the one at the playoffs where you win in overtime.
Oh, okay, yeah. He'll. I'm sure he'll be geared up to try and.
It'd be
shut
nice
us
to
out.
see. It'd be nice to see Patrick again.
Yeah. No, he's a great goalie.
Because he left to go and play with his brother.
Oh, okay.
Because he's from Sunderski, and his brother plays there. And I think the team restarted or something, and he decided, oh, I've got this great opportunity to go and play with my brother in my hometown. And how do you turn that down?
Yeah, that's a pretty cool experience to be able to play with a family member like that. Yeah, that's something I think I would jump at as well.
And so I think I'm all out of hockey at the minute, but I have wrote down 2 little notes.
Sure.
Christmas. You're a big Christmas guy.
I'm a huge Christmas guy.
Why do you love Christmas?
I think it's just like, growing up, just the family, and it even stems from college, because like, you go to college first time away from home, and for me, I was a ways away, like.
Well, if you're Calgary to
to the east, kind of East Coast. Like I drove it. It was 47 hours.
Oh wow!
But if you fly, it's a couple flights, like a layover usually.
You can't get one direct there.
No, definitely not. So then, and again, you grow up in your group of friends, and then a bunch of us all went to different colleges, and you kind of keep in touch. But then at Christmas time, we all get the same break, so we all come back at the same time, and so it's a bit of a big party, and you get to see your family, the group of hockey families that you grew up with, are all together. So that's something I always look forward to, and yeah, just being with the family. And now that I have kids and stuff, I really enjoy it. That's actually why I have the number 25. It's for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I was 20.
Oh, the Texas took that pleasure away from you.
I was 20, and then I went to Chicago, and they have a legendary Darren Hitter. He was number 20 there, so I wasn't getting that number. And I just asked, they were asking me what number you want. Didn't really have any. I don't want a low number, because growing up, defensemen are usually given anything from 2 to 10. That's kind of boring.
I think Josh says he got 25. I think I've read this on his player profile last year. It's because he was so big, he just had one of the biggest shirts. And it's one of the back end ones. I think that's the whole reason he wears 25.
Yeah, we usually, when I grew up as a defenseman, always got the single digit numbers and then forward to start after that. And I hated having a single digit number. So I thought, I don't know, I like Christmas. And 25, there's been some decent, like Joe Noondike's a Calgary Flame guy that I liked. He wore 25, so I thought there's that. But then there's, who doesn't love Christmas? So I like the lights. We actually got to do Christmas last year. We did Christmas morning in London.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is really cool. Yeah, I love the big city lights and everything, so we really enjoyed that.
Because they have the Christmas market here in Nottingham.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I'm
most similar to Sheffield, I imagine.
Pretty nice though, because you guys have a bit nicer of a downtown, and it's kind of
the big square. They have all wooden huts and things, and
where that sand was.
Yeah, where the beach goes. Yeah, they have all wooden huts and everything. It's such there's an outdoor ice rink. It's a very nice experience.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I heard about the outdoor ice rink. We actually have family coming. They always like to come in around December, so we have some coming before, some coming for after. But it's nice that it'll all be set up as Christmas when they're here.
I think they get started in November, so it'll definitely be set up when they get
here. Yeah, no, I like that because again, especially being over here, I think it stems from not necessarily feeling homesick, but the house seems to feel more homey when you can put up more decorations. So we tend to put our tree up earlier than we would back home. But we notice already there's Christmas stuff in stores.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy.
As soon as Halloween's finished, that's it then.
Oh man.
You wait till it's all in.
Yeah.
So, favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, there's a lot out there, but I will say Home Alone 2, Lost in New York is up there.
Favorite Christmas food?
Ooh, Christmas food. That's a tough one.
These are the tough questions now. You've got through the easy part.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm a sweets guy, so we do turkey a lot of times at Christmas. So I like this, the stuffing portion, especially nowadays. They're all getting pretty extravagant with them. But I will say, my family stems from my mom's mom, but shortbread cookies, they make phenomenal, and they're thin, So you can just sit there, and before you know it, you've piled back about 20 of them.
Favorite Christmas song?
Ooh, Christmas song. Oh, so you're asking some tough questions, man. Because I love Christmas, so it'd be hard to be like, oh, I like that song. I like that song. I think I like just because it stems from Home Alone. The Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That's a good one.
Best present.
Best present.
These are all off the top of my head. I'm
honestly, I can think of my worst present. My family.
That was my next question.
Okay, well, I'll give you the best one. God, it's tough. It's got to be back when I was younger, like
a hockey stick or something.
The hockey and the hockey games. I remember my dad got us a surprise, like our first like video game system one year. That was pretty cool. Worst for sure, and family always laughs at me because I never forget the bad gift. But I was 14, and like my dad's family has a bigger family, so we do like the draw thing or whatever. So not everyone has to buy for everyone.
Like Secret Santa kind of thing.
Well, yeah, we know where it's coming from, but that way you don't have to buy for all the kids. There's so many, so you just kind of pick and choose a few. Anyways, my brother, he's sitting there opening gifts, and he got brand new set of road hockey gear, so pads, and he got something else and something else. And I opened up, and I think I was 12 or 13, too old for my gift, and it was a Black Stallion, the book, the story picture book. And I'm doing, I love Christmas, and I'm doing everything I can to be the polite. Oh, thank you very much, I appreciate it. I was so pissed off on the way home on the car ride.
Did you have to name and shame who got it you?
No, I won't do that to them. But it was. I still to this day always that sticks in my mind.
That's the kind of thing you will not forget.
Yeah, I know. I can't. It's just kind of. I do it more now as a joke because it's like. You think about kids, like, and I laugh now with my kids because like they don't hold their emotion all that well. So to have to like Christmas is so exciting. So when you open up something that you don't necessarily want, you're like kind of like, well, what is this? Right? Yeah. But it was kind of it's now a funny story.
So board games.
Board games. I'm a Monopoly guy.
Monopoly. What's your character of choice?
Actually, I like all the new ones that have come out. So I've had like we played the NHL one. Where you can,
the actual boards.
Yeah, and you can like pick and choose which team. It's stickers, so like which team you want to be the most expensive. So we put like.
Oh, so you choose which one you want.
I put like the Flames on as like Boardwalk or whatever, and you can put like the Oilers as the cheapest one or whatever. Stuff like that. So I enjoy the Monopoly for sure. Are
there any other ones that you like to play?
Well, I have a card game. My dad taught me a few. Cribbage. I'm a big cribbage player. I like playing that one. That's just a good. Actually, we had a family cabin, so growing up there, that was where I was first introduced to board games.
Like in the middle of the woods or something?
No, it's like on a lake, but there's, you don't watch a lot of TV, and so you're forced to kind of learn these other things, and it's a lot of fun. It's actually more fun than just sitting there and watching TV type of thing. So we used to have big family games, all sorts of different card games, but I say cribbage is one that's stuck with me.
I think the last Monopoly game I played was Minions Monopoly.
Minions, there you go. Did you play it? You don't own it, or did you play it with someone?
No, I think I got it as a gag gift, and then to spite the person, I actually played it.
There you
just
go.
To say, look, yeah.
You know what? It was an enjoyable gift. Thank you very much.
It's weird though, because it's not flat to the ground. It's like raised up, and it's
one of those
circular as well.
Really?
But it's still, kind of threw me off.
Yeah, that's very advanced. I don't think I've played in one of those yet.
No, I'm gonna have to see if I can bring it in and get you to play like Tim at it or something and record it.
Yeah, he'd be all over that. He likes his board games.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
This
Happy
was
to
fun.
be here. Yeah, good little
It's
chat.
not too bad, was it?
No, it's fun to. Yeah, like I said, obviously it's a lot of hockey questions and geared towards hockey, but.
Well, if we do this again, we'll do one completely not hockey related.
Yeah, there you go. It's fun too, though. Sometimes.
Mark Matheson Part 2, not hockey.
Well, reflect back, like you mentioned, some players that you kind of forget about when you just quickly think back to your career of.
Is it because they stand out because they played for the Panthers kind of thing? That when I look through Elite, I just see Brian Schmidt, whereas you didn't necessarily remember him.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I recognise that name out of all the list.
Yeah. Chris Capero, that was pretty cool. It's kind of a name I haven't heard about since college. So, it is a small world for sure.
Like that's the crazy thing. I think it's that. You can always find someone who's played with someone who's been over here now.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just crazy.
And especially as you've played a while like I have, when it comes to getting references about different opinions on different players or even coaches. I mean, it doesn't take much to look at the last roster that was there and you can find someone that's played with someone, even if you don't personally know anyone.
Yeah, there's
It
always a
doesn't
link.
take much, yeah. Because if I ever get asked about a certain player, it doesn't take much to, if I don't personally know them, it doesn't take much to find someone that I know that's played with them and can give me an honest reference and opinion about them. So that's kind of a cool aspect of sports.
So you got much planned for the rest of the day now the sun's come out?
Yeah, not much. I mean, it's the Matheson household. It's getting close to dinner time, and then I'll probably play.
That's why I like to do this early. I did the first one at like 6, and Jason was like, he's talking about dinner. I was like, I'll move these a bit back next time.
Yeah, but probably play some. I think she's playing Play-Doh right now, but we'll probably play some type of Lego or something, and then we put our youngest, who's 4 months down, around 7:30, and then our 4-year-old daughter, well, not quite 4, but she will be 4 soon, goes down, and then usually have some time with my wife. We'll watch a show or just kind of hang out, and then a lot of times at the evening is when I do my coaching work.
Oh, okay.
Just as the house is quiet, it's actually kind of a nice like Zen moment for me. It's the chaos.
Everyone's in bed.
The chaos has settled for a while. I can just kind of plug in and get my work done, and actually quite enjoy doing it at that time because it's like a peaceful time of the day. I can really zone in and be prepared for the next day.
Because one of the unique things, I remember when Patrick was talking about when we were sorting out your visa and stuff, that your whole family is MM. It's all M Matheson.
And that's not that's by design. That's my wife.
It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, my wife is adamant about the MM. I think that's one of the reasons why she married me.
That's what she was looking for.
Yeah, she's like, all right, initials match up. Okay, you're good.
Hockey, no. Initials, yes.
Yeah, exactly. He plays hockey, that's okay. But
the initials are the deal.
yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.